keep finding that I get excited about setting new identity-based goals, but within 2 weeks, I'm reverting back to old habits. But I found something that has helped me sustain myself through those low periods. Today, I want to share with you my simple win stacking system, a way to make progress feel as rewarding as leveling up in a video game. I'll share with you what I'm currently struggling with, my simple system, how it's helped me massively, and how you can set it up too. Let's go. So the problem is, how do we sustain the changes and the habits that we make after the 2 weeks of like excitement boost, let's make this change? I find that if I don't actually make any changes to my underlying self-image, that within a couple weeks after that excitement, tapers off, that I just revert back to my old self-image, old habits. And so in the book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, he says two important things. One is that we always act in accordance with our self-image, whether positive or negative. And the second is that we can actually change our self-image and our present state of mind based on just one modest experience that we can leverage. And so honestly, this keeps happening to me. If I want to be vulnerable with you, this is what I'm struggling with. I've always found that I don't like surface level social exchanges. I've always resonated more with deep conversations about life. But ever since COVID, it kind of, got normalized to just not talk to anybody. And so I just got normalized to not pushing my comfort zone in that way. But I soon realized that those surface level exchanges are a prerequisite to getting to those deeper conversations. And so that's when the internal tension started to creep up and the self-doubt in my mind. I would compare myself to other people, more extroverted people that just, it seems to come naturally to them. And I would keep making these excuses in my head whenever I had these little opportunities to say something to someone, to start an exchange or conversation. I don't want to interrupt them. They're reading, I don't want to interrupt, I don't want to bother them. And this happened most recently back in November when I drove my van down to Arizona. I used the change of environment to change my self-image, and it worked decently well. I started more social exchanges, but at the same time, I kept going out camping in BLM land and spending time alone. So it was, I needed more opportunities, but I realized two things from this. There's a particular mindset when doing this is easy to me, and for me that's after exercising. And then the second is doing it, starting a social exchange gives me this boost of confidence that makes it so much easier to do it again. So this leads to this idea, can we design something that, one, changes our self-image so that the action that we want to do aligns with our new self-image and is no longer different from our past self-image. Two, gets us into that success mindset so we can leverage that boost in confidence that we get from actually taking action. And three, is easy enough that we can sustain it through the long term, through those low motivation periods. Alex Ramosi has frequently talked about stacking evidence. He has this amazing tweet: "You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt." But what exactly is a stack of undeniable proof? The win stacking system is that concrete stack of undeniable proof. There are 3 parts to this. The first is set a clear goal based on actions. I'm following the 12-week year approach, and I set myself a very reasonable goal based on actions, and that's to initiate a social interaction. It could be a compliment, a comment, anything with a stranger 36 times. The second is create a note somewhere. Could be a physical piece of paper, could be just use your phone notes app. I just have a bullet list on my phone. Doesn't really matter, just create a note somewhere. And 3 is write down your wins. Don't overcomplicate it. I just have a bullet list. I put the date and then a short description, the context, enough to trigger my brain to remember the story and trust that it actually happened. And so whenever you do an action that aligns with this self-image, that aligns with this change, write it down, and write it down like you're sharing it to a friend. So this might be a little bit embarrassing, but I'll share with you some examples of what I have written down so that you have an idea of how this works. November 25th, 2024, I'd just gotten to Phoenix, and I said it's my first time in Phoenix to the barista at Cartel Roasting this morning and got into a little exchange. Another one here, different coffee shop. This woman sets up her 3-monitor setup at the table next to me and goes off to get a coffee. She comes back, and as she's approaching the table, I say, "Quite the setup you have there," and ask her what she does. So it's enough context to remember and trigger the memory and trust that it actually happened. The goal is to document and accumulate real, tangible evidence that you have actions that align with this self-image. That is the most important part. Doing this, you start to question your own self-doubt because you have this list of tangible evidence. Honestly, with my own goal, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I have all of this evidence. When my self-doubt comes up and tells me, "Oh, you're not that type of person. Oh, that's not you. Oh, just, be comfortable." I start to question that because I'm like, I read through these and I'm like, are you sure you're that type of person that can't start exchanges? I'm literally building the evidence for my new self-image. And the best part is it's incredibly easy. Have a goal based on actions, have a note, and document your wins. Okay, I'll end with some practical tips. The first one is make your goal stupid easy. It should be stupid easy. If you look at it and you question or have any amount of anxiety, it's too hard. If you look at it and you are embarrassed at how stupid easy it sounds, you've found the right difficulty level. See, now is not the time to be stuck in the analysis paralysis state. If we're not moving, now is not the time to be ambitious. Now is the time to just start moving. See, remember one of the core pieces of this is getting that success mindset so that you can do the next actions, because every action after the first one is much easier. And so an example of this, when I got to Porto 3 weeks ago, I was literally having trouble starting these exchanges. And so I changed my weekly goal from initiating 3 comments with people to just say good morning to someone 3 times over the course of the entire week. I'm telling you, stupid easy. Number 2 is find as many ways to win and write down those wins as you can. Especially in the early days, I found it is most important to just document mini wins, adjacent wins, even like changes in your thinking. Remember, the goal is to change the mindset, give you that success mindset, and boost your confidence so that you can do it again. Kind of feels weird to say, but it's kind of like training a dog to do a trick based on positive reinforcement. It's like you want them to pick up the thing. You give them a treat when they're nearby the thing, and then you give them another treat when they touch the thing, and then you give them another treat when they actually finally pick up the thing. It's like we're leading them to that using positive reinforcement. And so, I mean, here's some just super basic and adjacent mini wins that I even wrote down. Penang Hill asked for a photo from someone. That was it. I decided to work out without headphones on, and I was doing abs on a yoga mat, and there was a girl also doing abs kind of next to me, and I was trying to figure out if there was a comment that I could say to her. And I almost said something, but I didn't. And I decided to write that down. And I wrote, I'm calling it a mini W because I previously wouldn't have even thought about saying something. Start small. And number 3 is focus on the positives. I think if you're in the identification and goal setting phase, I find that it's helpful to figure out which actions align with the new self-image and which actions you no longer want to do. But if you're in the documenting phase where you're writing down wins, focus on the wins, focus on the positives. I find just like, don't even bring attention to the past self-image, the past actions that you don't want to do. Focus on the positives, and that's it. Have a stupid, simple goal that's based on actions. Have a note somewhere and write down your wins. Document every win until you have a list so long that even your own self-doubt can't dispute the evidence. If this was helpful for you, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.